Hello BSS, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here then just welcome. Hi, my name is Brenda. I do paranormal videos here on my channel, so if that is something that you are interested in, please consider subscribing down below and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss when I post another video like this one. Now with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Alright, hello everybody, welcome back. It is a new week, a new video. Happy Friday, and thank you guys so much for bearing with me since I did skip last week, and I hope that you all had an amazing Halloween and that you guys liked that little Halloween video that I ended up posting on the day of Halloween instead of Friday. But after that, I was kind of a little bit drained, and as spooky season ends and it gets closer to winter, my mood ends up shifting a lot. I stopped doing a lot of the things that I usually do, which I am trying to get better at. I am trying to take this transition a little bit easier and keep my motivation up to make these videos and, you know, do my other content, because I also just had my trip to California, so I'm also trying to edit that, and then I never have time to film, yada yada yada. You guys already know I have a hard time balancing my life and then the stuff that I need to do for this channel. But anyway, nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into today's video, which you guys can see is some subscribers' paranormal stories. Yay! One of our favorites here on my channel. And as always, if you guys want to send me your paranormal stories for me to read here on my channel, make sure to send them to my email, beyondbellezaparanormal@gmail.com. That is the only place that I read them from. And maybe at some point I'll make a subreddit, but I'm still not sure how I feel about that. Since that's going to be basically anybody can read them, and then so it would kind of defeat the purpose of me reading them here on the channel. But anyway, we might do that. So that is what we're doing today. We're going to be reading some more stories that you guys sent to me, and as always, thank you so much for sending those in to me. It really means a lot that you guys do, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to make these videos. And yeah, thank you for your support and your love. Alright, let me get my phone and pull up my email. Okay, so story number 1. It was sent in to me by somebody who wants to go by FCC. This is titled Community Subacute Transitional Care Center, Fresno, California. I had surgery that required me to be put in rehab care center. This is like every other rehab center I have seen over the years. Nothing out of the norm. On my third night, one of the patients went out on his 4-hour pass and got something he wasn't supposed to have, and OD'd and passed away. Now, this patient had a wheelchair that used to squeak as he went up and down the hall. My room was at the end, right across the activity room, so I heard this patient wheel by my room a handful of times. They stored all the used wheelchairs and shower chairs at the end of the hall next to my room, so after he passed, his chair was stored there. About a week later, I woke up in the middle of the night to what sounded like a squeaking sound going by my door. This freaked me out because it was dead silent, only what sounded like that wheelchair squeaking by my door. This went on till they moved all the chairs downstairs to the basement, but things just got more intense from there. At night, our bathroom door started opening by itself, and it happened a few times in front of the staff, scaring the hell out of 2 of them, which they then refused to enter our room. I got a new roommate, a little old Mexican man. Bernardo only spoke Spanish, and I had woken up to him standing by my window looking out at the 3 big pine trees. This always happened around 3 in the morning, and he always used to tell me in Spanish that there were 2 to 3 beautiful women outside in the trees calling him to come outside in the middle of the night and to bring me with him. Then I started to wake up to something at the foot of my bed, a black shadow type. It would slap my foot or leg to wake me up. Then sometimes it would sit on the bed next to my feet once I was awake, and I could see my blankets and bed sink down like someone sat on that part of the bed. I told a few CNAs about what I experienced, and a A few informed me of seeing and hearing about the same thing in another room in the subacute side. Some think it's the patient who died in that room that haunts it, but the room I'm in, I believe it's multiple entities that haunt the room. Some just want to let you know they're there, and some want you to feel their presence, hence the slap on the foot or leg, and some, I don't know. I came to learn a lot of people in here die alone. No family, no friends, no one to be with them in the end except the staff. I can see how some could be angry after death, and I felt that whatever was in that room was still angry because some nights the room felt cold, dark, and lonely. Just me and the dark and whatever else was watching me from the darkness in the bathroom. I came to learn to just be mindful of places where death is an everyday occurrence. Not everyone finds peace. And that is very true because I always think that it doesn't make sense for people to linger in hospitals because I always think that maybe there's a better place that they would rather be, but I never really thought about people who are lonely and who don't have any family members. But it would make sense why some of them would still linger, especially if the only people that cared for them were the staff of the hospital. I would totally understand that, but that's very eerie. But thankfully you didn't have to stay there for that long, right? Alright, but thank you so much for sending that story in. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. Now let's go ahead and get into story number 2. Alright, and this one is sent in to me by Angelica. And she says, "Hi Brenda. First and foremost, I absolutely love your YouTube creepy videos. Thank you for the amazing content. I have a true paranormal story. It all started when I was 4 years old, and at that time we were living in my grandparents' home built in the late 1800s. My mother would notice I would be in random corners of the house talking to my friend, giggling and playing dolls. My mother would ask me who I was playing with, and my response would be, 'Sally, Mommy, it's Sally.' She thought it was just someone I made up and never really paid much attention to it. Until one day my cousin and I were 5 and 6 years old playing with a bouncy ball in our grandparents' basement, which was an open space concept, and in the left side corner of the basement was an area with no light. It was the darkest, deepest part of the basement, and on the right side corner of the basement was a door that led to a crawl space under the house, and for some weird reason, there was a mirror on the door. Well, we had bounced the ball so hard it landed in the darkest corner, and of course, because I was younger, my cousin made me go get it. Once I had ran and picked up the ball, I looked up and there was Sally. Strangely, she looked really scary. She had sunk-in black eyes and her clothes were ripped and dirty. I yelled to my cousin, "Hurry and come look." And she replied, "Look at what? I don't see anything. Just get the ball and give it to me." Well, we continued our made-up games, then decided to play wall ball. We bounced it on the door with the mirror and the latch came off. We looked at each other like we knew our grandpa would get mad if we opened it. So, of course, we both went and put the latch back on. While we walked back to the other side of the basement, we heard the latch again. We turned around and now the door with the mirror was unlatched and slightly opened. We both gave each other looks like maybe one of us was playing a joke, and we both responded with, "I'm not playing, it opened by itself." We ran to shut it again, and before we could even get 2 feet from it, it slammed wide open, and there, standing in the door, was Sally, screaming bloody murder in a high-pitched voice, "On fire." We screamed and ran up the stairs crying. I decided to look behind us, and Sally was chasing us up the stairs, and we could feel the heat from her burning body. We got to the top of the stairs, slammed the door, and my mom came running, asking us what happened, and we explained what we saw. But of course, being kids with imagination, she didn't believe us, until she opened the door to the basement, and on the other side of the door was a slight burnout print of a small body. Being in a religious household, we got the house blessed and we didn't see Sally again until February of 2021, when my grandfather died. My fiance and I went out to clean the house. My fiance was in the bathroom cleaning and asked me if I had called out his name, which I replied, "No, what the heck? Maybe you heard the TV." He said, "Nope, it's not on." He ignored it and continued cleaning. We both walked into my grandparents' room while looking at each other, having a conversation, and we looked directly in the mirror on the dresser, and our blood ran cold, and our faces were flushed of any color. Right behind us was Sally on fire. We turned around so fast to look behind us, and she was gone. I still feel like she's around, somewhere close by. Thank you so much for taking your time to read my true story. I hope it's creepy to you as much as it was terrifying to experience for me. Haha. Angie. P.S. You can use my thing. Thank you. Okay, thank you for letting me know, because I had already said it and I was like, okay, she didn't say anything, so hopefully it's fine. But thank you so much, Angie. This was truly terrifying. Anytime that has to do with like ghost children, that's always like the scariest to me, and obviously sad as well. So I wonder if she just passed away from a house fire in that, maybe that plot of land, and then a new house was built on top of it. But you did say that this home had been up since the 1800s, so maybe she like burned somewhere near the house or something like that. But that would honestly be super, super scary to experience as a child, and then kind of have it validated when you're an adult and have somebody else witness it with you. I feel like that would be like the craziest thing to experience ever. But anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm so glad that you enjoy my content. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get into story number 3. Okay, so this one is sent in to me by Leslie. It says, "Hi Bella, I love your videos, especially the mukbang videos. I watch your vids when I'm at work like a podcast. I have a story that I think you've gotten before about brujas taking babies. Hopefully you share this one. It's something that happened to my family." Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate it. And I'm excited to read this. Okay. It says, "My grandma, my mom's mom, used to live in Mexico in Guanajuato in a little pueblito called Arroyo de la Luna with my grandpa. And at that time, my mom was not born yet. But my grandma had 2 daughters that were around 5 and 6 and 7 years old. And one son who was about 3 and another son who was still an infant baby. The baby, who is my uncle, was put in his cunita one night to sleep, and he was in the room alone, while everyone else was in different parts of the house. At that time, one of my tias heard a noise coming from the room where her baby brother was sleeping, so she went to see. When she looked in the room, she saw a woman at the window trying to open it, and she was so afraid she ran to tell her parents what she saw. My grandma ran to the room, and my grandpa used to hide a gun in the house, so he ran to grab the gun. Well, when my grandma ran into the room, she flipped the lights on, and she saw the woman leaning from her torso up into the room through the window. She was reaching for my uncle, the baby, until my grandma and my tia ran into the room and turned on the lights. What my grandma saw next always has given me goosebumps. The woman looked at my grandma and they made eye contact. My grandma said she knew in that moment when they locked eyes that this lady was a witch. My grandma said the witch looked almost like a drug addict because her skin was pale and sweaty, and her eyes were wide like she was on some kind of drug. She had her hair messy like she had been riding a bike or a car with the windows down. I still remember my grandma describing her hair like that. My grandma said, "En el momento que la miré, me quise desmayar," and she felt like she was going to fall over. So she said she felt like she was going to faint when she saw her. Well, my grandpa also ran in with a gun, and he fired 2 shots into the roof of the bedroom and screamed at the woman/witch that the next bullets were for her. Well, with that, the witch did escape and run away. Afterwards, my grandma was about to fall over, so my grandpa had to hold her to keep her from falling. He sat my grandma down and tried to calm her, but my grandma said she felt like she was on the verge of passing out. I think it might have been el susto and the adrenaline from the moment. My grandma had to lay down, and they put a wet towel on her forehead. But in the days that followed, she got sick. She did not eat for a few days, and at night she could not sleep no matter what she tried. So she would just lay there all night next to my grandpa. My uncle, the baby, also got sick, and that night that everything happened, he just would not stop crying. I think because of the gunshots, it could be that he was espantado, but in the days that followed, he had a fever and he was also not eating well. They did get better, thankfully, but my grandma said she thinks it was more than just el susto que se llevaron, que les hizo mal. She thinks the magic and or energy of the witch was also affecting them. To me, I can only imagine, and there is no way the paranormal didn't have at least a little to do with how they got sick after. Sorry this was long. My grandma and Diaz have told the story only 2 or 3 times because my grandma doesn't like to talk about what happened. But no matter how much time has passed, I never forget how I felt as a little middle school girl hearing this story. This shit is real and it does exist and is out there, especially in Mexico. It is a whole different level out there. Anyway, much love, Brenda. Your channel is the best, and thank you for reading this if you got this far. Take care. Oh my god, you are so sweet, Leslie. I always enjoy hearing stories about people's experiences with witches, and this was definitely up there in the list of spooky, creepy, eerie. Like, I just can't imagine that. Like, every single time that I think about somebody, like, reaching out into a window, I have, as you said, read a similar story to this, and I think it's kind of a common thing that people talk about or have stories about, and it's so freaking scary. And the whole thing with them getting sick afterwards, I mean, it could have been from shock, who knows, but I definitely think there was some kind of energy that was given off when that witch, or whoever she was, came into the room and stirred everything up. Lock your windows, lock your doors, lock everything, please, all the time. Even if you're not protecting yourself from witches, okay? Anybody could roll up in there. But thank you so much again for sending this story. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. And guys, as always, don't ever worry if sorry, this table is so noisy. Don't ever worry if the story is too long, because honestly, the more the merrier. The longer that this video can be from one single story, the better it is for moi, okay? Okay, and I'm gonna read you guys one more story as a little treat, as a little gift from me to you, because I care about you and because I missed last week. Because you guys already know, if you've been here long enough, you know that I do these in increments of 3. Is that the right word? Increments? I don't know. I do 3 stories at a time, but we're gonna go ahead and read number 4 here. Don't say I never did nothing for you. Okay, let's go. And this one is sent in to me by Kayla. It says, "My name is Kayla B, and I literally just found your videos bored at work. I love your channel. I had to say something about my experience." Thank you so much, first of all. You're so sweet. "My sleep paralysis started when I was in the 4th or 5th grade. My scariest one was when I was in the 6th or 7th grade. I used to sleep with my mom until I was 14. My bed is against a wall in a corner. We were sleeping and I suddenly felt like I couldn't move or talk or scream. We had a radio next to our bed in the dresser, and it was playing On the Floor by Jennifer Lopez full blast. It was so loud. I cannot listen to this song ever since. My soul came out of my body, but I also still felt my body sleeping. I was seeing black shadows pass by my room to and from my closet. Kind of looked like a man with a black coat and other black shadows. My soul body looked to my right, and I saw a baby demon with the widest smile and a lot of teeth smiling at me with white light surrounding it while it floated. I suddenly got startled, and while this was going on, I couldn't scream or tell my mom what was going on with me. My soul body got under the covers, just scared and wanting this feeling to go away. I had my eyes open the entire time, and suddenly my actual body felt a sigh of relief, and like a big weight just went away. I have never experienced anything like it. I am in my mid-20s and I don't experience it anymore. I learned to control it, and the key is to not let fear overtake you and say prayers. True. I feel like if you focus, I've never had sleep paralysis, but I feel like if you focus enough on like trying to move yourself, maybe it would work. I don't know anything about sleep paralysis, so don't even take advice from me. Another time that it happened was a couple of years ago. I was sleeping and I slightly woke up and heard... Oh, this is her second story. Did I say that? I don't think so. I was sleeping and I slightly woke up and heard rustling in the living room and was hearing stuff while I was half asleep. I thought that my brother just came home because every time he comes home, he makes noise settling in. Sleep paralysis kicked in and I couldn't talk or move. I started hearing plastic bags being touched next to my ear and a demonic voice saying galore, galore, galore over and over right in my ears. And I was also floating on the floor next to my bed. I hope you share this story with your followers and keep doing you, girl. Oh my god. She just left me in a cliffhanger. What happened after that? Did you just wake up? Did you wake up on the floor or on your bed? Like, what happened? I'm guessing that's all that happened after that. She woke up. Yeah, kind of obvious, right? But thank you so much, Kayla, for sending that story. It was so good, and I'm sorry that you do experience sleep paralysis, because as I always say, I don't think I could ever deal with that. I don't think I would be able to sleep anymore. I would have to be sedated. Somebody would have to be in the room with me at all times, and I would just be a wreck if I did have that. My boyfriend says he has it sometimes, Brandon. He has occasionally told me different little stories about his sleep paralysis experiences, and I'm like, nope, absolutely not. I don't want none of that. Thank you very much. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the last story. I know, boo. Okay, settle down, settle down. I will be back next week as always, so I hope that you did enjoy today's video, and I'm sorry if I do sound like I'm out of breath. It's been a minute since I recorded, and every time that I start recording again, my anxiety is just off the charts for some reason. I'm like, how many times have you done this and you still can't get used to it? What's going on, girly? I don't know what to tell you, but that's just me, okay? Sometimes that's why I can't be like reading so animated. Sometimes it's very like low and steady, because I am trying my best to catch my breath half of the video, and I'm sorry. So every time I think that this video is going to be 30 minutes, it's actually like 20 because of how much I have to cut out. Just, you know, just a little behind the scenes for you. But anyways, thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you're still here hearing me ramble, as always, if you didn't make it all the way to the end, make sure to leave me a little cat emoji and whatever comment you leave down below. That way I know who stayed all the way to the end of the video. And before I do end today's video, today's comment shout out goes to this person right here. Thank you so much for leaving me a nice comment. As always, I really do appreciate it, and it really makes my day. And if you want to be the next comment shout out, all you have to do is leave me a nice comment down below, and that's it. And yeah, guys, thank you so much again for watching. Hopefully I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to stay safe and be kind. Bye bye.